If you're under federal indictment, okay? I'm not going to say who this is about, and I'm not going to say what it's about. I'm just going to say this, okay? If you're under federal indictment and you're about to go to trial and you could get locked up for decades, it's probably not smart to threaten or intimidate people that you believe are victims or witnesses of your case. I know that you know that I know things, and you're scared of those things that I know. I'm not going to be silenced to stand up for my friend and say that I care about her and she doesn't deserve it. I don't lie. I've never lied about this situation. The thing that I've learned is that, like, he cannot get to her, and so he wants to ruin everything that's connected to her. In my opinion, that he can't get to her, that he can't talk to her. All she wants to do is be left alone. And she wants you prosecuted.
I think for the most part, like, I try to get a good sense of, like, whether or not I think someone, when I look at a story, I kind of just think of myself as, like, an advocate for the person that's maybe getting the shorter end of the stick. And maybe that's why I've been helping Lindsay Chrisley, because I feel like she's being railroaded and everything she's told me is completely checked out.
Hi beautiful people, welcome back. Hope everybody is doing well, everybody is keeping cool. When are we gonna get some relief? But you know what, we can't keep complaining, but it is what it is. So just keep hydrated, stay cool, do the best that you can, and just be safe. Let me make my usual disclaimer. Please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. And as per usual, Katie Joy's cult members, this is definitely not for you guys. You guys, honestly, a few days ago, I was actually speaking to somebody and I actually said to them, I cannot wait for the showdown between Lindsay Chrisley and Katie Joy, because it always seems as though this type of pattern follows Katie Joy. Why? I would love to know why. Same thing, in my opinion, happened with her, Katie Joy and Amy King, which is so unfortunate. And it seems as though the same thing is going to happen with Lindsay Chrisley and Katie Joy. I say that because Lindsay Chrisley actually made this post where she says, Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball will be addressed on Coffee Convo's podcast this coming week with my attorney, as I have and will continue to take the high road. It is important to point out the constant bullying and harassment. To which Katie Joy responded to Lindsay Chrisley, and she said, no one is bullying the family nor harassing you. I am reporting on your family's criminal case and conviction. Your father was convicted. You changed your story on the stand. That is reporting the facts. And went on to say, your father is facing a lawsuit for harassment against me. Nice try. Okay, let's back up a second. Let's rewind. Katie Joy always bragged about how she is such good friends with Lindsay Chrisley, and that she even on one of her lives on Instagram, she actually tried to protect Lindsay Chrisley from her own dad. And in that live, she even said that Lindsay Chrisley wants her dad prosecuted. Now that seemed weird to me, because why would a child say that about their dad? But also, can we believe that, or is that something that Katie Joy just embellished or fabricated? Because one thing we know about Katie Joy is that she can fabricate a story, and she can also get a story and embellish it to make her seem more credible. So obviously something went terribly wrong when the Chrisley trial began. I've made videos about this, which I'll link down below because I'm not going to get into everything. When Lindsay Chrisley actually came and spoke up against Without a Crystal Ball, stating that she's exposing lies, and she said that she was going to be a witness for the government. And then she also came about and said that Katie Joy needs to stop talking about her because she's facing so much harassment that she even has to change her phone number. And Lindsay also stated that she just wants Katie Joy to leave her alone and to stop talking about her. That's all she wanted. So during the trial with Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley, Katie Joy actually posted, Lindsay Chrisley actually posted this, and she says, "I know most of you are expecting to hear from me on my podcast this week, as I took time to be with my family last week. The verdict is not what I had hoped or prayed for, and I am deeply saddened for myself, my son, and my family as a whole. Please pray for us during this difficult time and know that I will be back when the time is right. Thank you for your continued love and support, Lindsay." And Katie Joy says, Lindsay Chrisley has taken a break from her podcast. She's deeply saddened by the verdict, and the verdict is not what she wanted. And went on, just to, I think, rub salt in the wound, or she knew something was coming down the pipeline because she posted this on her Instagram. Why did Lindsay change her story? One of two things happened at Todd Chrisley's trial. Lindsay Chrisley either perjured herself on the stand or she lied to federal agents. For over 2 years, Lindsay publicly accused her dad of exploitation related to a tape. During this period, Lindsay shared the same story by filing a police report in Cherokee County, Georgia, contacting the FBI requesting a protective order against her dad, calling him a monster, sending multiple emails to the FBI and meeting with the FBI about the alleged extortion, speaking about the extortion on her Instagram, Twitter, and podcast numerous times, posting screenshots of an affidavit from Robbie Hayes, text from her dad, and text from her brother, giving an interview in September 2021 that she was never reconciling with her dad for what he did to her. She gave multiple sworn depositions about the alleged extortion. Then before trial, she is to be a witness and suddenly changes her story. She becomes a witness for the defense instead. She gets so unruly in her testimony that she causes an outburst from jurors and is scolded by the judge. She gets sarcastic with the U.S. attorney, who submits into evidence her emails to the FBI begging for help. During the testimony, she praised her father and called his business partner shady. She accused the business partner of walking into a townhouse and taking a photo of her with the ex-husband in bed with her for safekeeping. So the story flipped from her dad having video of her to the partner walking in on her taking a photo of her for safekeeping. She said that there was no tape and that he, supposed to mean her dad, wasn't involved on the stand. No matter what way you slice it, Lindsay lied to someone. Either a federal agent or on the witness stand. Both are crimes, but she's unlikely to be charged with anything. What a way to be so passive-aggressive. Her credibility is toast though. Sadly, people have realized that she lied. She built a platform on honesty and humility with her podcast and Christian persona. Here we go one more time. Is she going to turn around and say that's why she defended Lindsay Chrisley? Because she could see she was a fake Christian? Okay, Jan. We don't know why she lied or acted so inappropriately at trial. But why lie? I don't get it. Why do you lie, Katie? I also don't get it. Katie Joy bragged about being friends with Lindsay Chrisley. And she always said Lindsay's such a good friend. Lindsay's the type of friend that you will take to go and bury a body and yada, yada, yada. But then something actually went awry here. She was quite okay. Katie Joy was quite okay with Lindsay bashing Todd Chrisley to her, that Katie Joy followed up with the story. She decided to report on the story, how Todd Chrisley is such a bad dad, he's extorting his daughter, he's such a bad father, and on and on and on it goes. Now, is she trying to wiggle her way out of it by saying that for over 2 years, Lindsay publicly accused her dad of exploitation related to a tape, and that during this period, Lindsay shared the same story by filing a police report, contacting the FBI for a protective order against her dad? I get that. But Katie Joy, when the truth came out about when they found out who actually was spreading this rumor about this tape, and that it wasn't her dad or her brother or whatever else she reported, you made it your duty not to correct that story. You didn't go and take those videos down, or you didn't come up on your platform and say you need to correct the story and give out the correct information. Another thing you didn't do, when Todd Chrisley came with receipts that it was Lindsay Chrisley that ratted him out to the IRS, that story you also didn't correct. Let's be clear about that. Then she goes on and she says, during Todd Chrisley's criminal trial, I rejected a global settlement agreement with the entire Chrisley family. The next day, Todd Podcast One and Seven Seas Productions were served with a lawsuit for defamation, emotional stress, and harassment for the years-long campaign against me. The truth is what is being deflected. But you're the queen of deflection, Katie Joy. I filed a lawsuit against Todd Chrisley, Podcast One, and Seven Seas Production for harassment, defamation, and emotional distress for the years long I have faced against them. We are not opposed to adding any other Chrisley family member that continues to defame me with their lies. The horror, anguish that I face due to the harassment of me is nothing I'd wish on my worst enemy. Katie Joy, you bring everything upon yourself. There is nobody else to blame for your horror and your anguish but yourself, in my opinion. Because you are the one that's always getting it wrong. You, at the time, you were the one that said, Lindsay is such an honest person. Lindsay is such a trustworthy person. She doesn't lie. She crosses all her T's, dots all her I's. She is such a good friend. Now, what's changed? Are we going to have another episode of Clark Swanson where you receive all this information with open arms, you report on it, you hurt people, and then when the shit hits the fan, you want to settle and say, oh, I was manipulated? Is this going to be another thing now, Katie Joy, where you're going to say you were manipulated into telling stories or telling lies? That's going to be interesting to know. And let's not forget, because this is, for me, speaks 1,000 words, okay? In her exclusive, she stated as fact, and I will list that video down below as soon as I get home to my desktop and do all this. I promise you, I'm still on vacation. I will be home by tomorrow, so I apologize. I'll definitely insert it here. Where she stated as fact that it was Todd Chrisley that leaked the information to TMZ about a police report on Lindsay Chrisley. That Todd Chrisley was the one that was trying to extort his daughter. She even says, what kind of father does that? And that is absolutely mind-boggling. That video is absolutely mind-boggling. And another thing, you guys, is that Katie Joy filmed, she's always blaming, why isn't Dr. Phil being sued? Why isn't the Chrisleys going and suing Dr. Phil for reporting this? To my knowledge, Katie Joy's video was done in June. Dr. Phil's episode was filmed in October. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So why would they go and sue Dr. Phil? Because clearly, as you said, you got a linky link sent to your email. So you, like a fool, just believed everything Lindsay was saying, and you ran all the way to the bank with it. Katie Joy, this is why you need friends. This is why you need family. You are so gullible. You are so easily manipulated. You would do anything for a friend. There's a clear example. There was one time that Lindsay Chrisley was having a problem with a business partner. Katie Joy gave out their email and asked them to go, ask her audience to go and harass them. Now, when you get a person like Lindsay Chrisley that hops in your DMs, obviously Katie Joy is going to be on top of it. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with it, but just as a business person, as you call yourself, you and your team, shouldn't you be more careful who you take on as a personal friend, and that you cannot mix business with pleasure? So you just took the story that Lindsay sent you, that she did on a podcast, and you ran with that story. You were ever so helpful to Lindsay because Lindsay was having issues with her parents. Lindsay was cast out. So obviously, in my opinion, she's going to feel a certain kind of way about her parents. But you helped Lindsay defame her parents. That's the way I see it. And you were also willing to do it. You stuck up for Lindsay Chrisley like Lindsay Chrisley was your family, was your blood relative. But Katie Joy, clearly you don't learn. And I don't think you ever will learn. So it's going to be quite interesting to hear what Lindsay Chrisley has to say. And for the most part, if I've got to hear this one more time, it's like, you got to be kidding me. You're in your 40s. You cannot be manipulated anymore. You claim to be on Mensa. You claim to be so smart. But you can still do dumb stuff like this. This just blows my mind. It truly blows my mind. So anyway, you guys, that's it for today. Hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your week. Cannot wait for this podcast to come out to actually hear what Lindsay Chrisley has to say. We are definitely going to talk about it when it does come out. You guys, be safe out there. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Be kind to one another. And don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.